And whatever you do, don't let it fall into the wrong hands.
You guys proceeded to follow word of these red-robed, wizardy kind of figures that have been traipsing around this area of the jungle. You took the advice of some scouts that seemed to be looking out for the well-being of the jungle, and they pointed you in the direction of this area that you've discovered to be an enormous sort of city that seems to have fallen into disrepair. You went past a sort of gatehouse on your way into the city and read a bunch of intriguing graffiti. Then you eventually found your way into this walled compound with a series of buildings and some wild dogs chewing on some corpses and some very unpleasant looking spears and snake symbols adorning the corpses. Then, as you were circling the outskirts of the walled compound, avoiding interacting with the wild dogs, you heard from the rubble in the far corner a voice shouting, "Help! Help me! I'm stuck under the rubble! Help!" And that is where we left off. What would you guys like to do?
Let's run up to the rubble.
Run.
I stay back because I've met red wizards before, and I'm like, no.
I look at Caesar. I'm just like, hey, Muscle, let's help this guy.
Yep, let's go.
I know how. Why isn't my character sheet
Okay,
loading?
so
I know what I want to do. Oh, there it is. Finally, it just took ages to load.
So Jax and Caesar storm ahead towards the rubble, and Professor Fleeb hangs back cautiously. And
I'm gonna actually cast something on myself and go a few steps behind. I'm gonna cast invisibility on myself.
Okay, cool.
Behind the other two, like a few meters behind the thing.
Okay, so you're kind of in the middle between.
I'm expecting a trap.
Between Fleeb and the two Jax and Caesar.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. You, Caesar and Jax, come to the rubble, and you hear the shout slightly louder now. What? What's that? Footsteps? Please, help me. I'm stuck under this rubble.
We're like, hey, don't worry.
Can we see
We're gonna
the
help
pile
you
of
out.
rubble ahead of us, or
Sorry, say that again?
can we see which pile of rubble he's under, or
Um,
there under?
if you're on the map, do you want me to describe where on the map?
Or just ping it?
Okay, cool.
It's obvious to us where he is.
Yes, it's in sort of the back left corner, so roughly here. So the wild dogs are kind of centered around the middle, and the corpses are also in the middle, and the rubble is in the back left corner.
Okay, so let's say we skirted around the bottom, so I'll be over in this corner, and you guys ran along the west wall to go and meet him, with the dog still in the middle.
Cool, yeah, that makes sense.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Because we enclosed this and said we were going to try and circle round them and explore everything while we were doing it, so...
I'm just going to make your icons a little bit smaller to go with the... just so you
Size
can...
of the building.
Yeah, you can fit inside.
We are not a 8x5 meter.
I don't know, man. How many of us have stocked whatever growth over that?
Enlarged person.
Enlarged. That's the one. No one.
None.
All right.
No one.
Cool. Okay,
All
so
you.
you're at the rubble. You've heard this guy muffled voice calling out to you, saying, "I'm here. You, whoever that is, help me. Just lift a couple of these rocks. I'm in an awkward position."
Hey, dude, don't worry. My friend's gonna help you out. What's your name?
My name is Orvex. Who are you?
Oh, Orvex. That's almost as cool as my name. I'm Jex.
Oh, wouldn't you know? They're kind of similar. It's really good to sort of meet you.
Yeah, don't you worry, dude. You hang tight.
What colour clothes is he wearing?
Can I see anything about him?
Whilst all this chattering is going on, Caesar is pulling rocks off the pile.
Okay, give us an athletics check, Caesar, and give me a perception check, please, Jax.
Okay, I just have to remember. how
I'm
to
just
do
like
this.
staying quietly off to one side, invisible,
Pop
just in
out,
case of
pop out.
disaster.
Okay.
The inevitable disaster I'm expecting.
Perception.
Okay, let's do the perception first. With a 19, you can, as Caesar is rapidly chucking rocks aside with untold athleticism, you notice that the shoulders of this man appear to have a sort of like drab green kind of color, not really red from what you can tell. Awesome.
Okay.
And as the last of the rocks are shifted aside, you see this kind of fairly thin
I know
looking.
what. Way before enough of them are gone. I'm gonna see if he can get his mouth to a crack, and I can pour him some beer.
Okay. Yeah, you can kind of his head and shoulders are kind of free at the moment, so you can pour him some beer now if you want.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm like,
Okay.
here you go, dude. Tip your head back.
Oh, what's this? Is this beer? Oh yeah. Oh
And
gosh,
I'll pour
I'm
just
so
a little
thirsty.
bit too much per sip.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Like he splutters a little bit each time.
Just like overflows a little bit.
Like
Before you keep
spluttering,
on
yeah.
applying the beer and everything and all that, where the fuck did you get that from, by the way? But
Dude, you never travel light, haven't you heard?
you do have a bag of holding. I did forget that.
okay,
I
cool.
wasn't so
So
intent on staying here. Absolutely mage pickpocket you.
he gurgles and splutters and says, "Oh yes, I mean my face did need a clean as well, so that's good, thank you." And then a couple of seconds later, the rest of his body is freed and he starts to shuffle out. And what you see is, I'll give you a little description.
Check how long invisibility lasts, actually.
Yeah, how long does it?
An hour, I think.
An hour, yeah. It's concentrated. It lasts an hour.
Okay, so he looks.
Pretty decent.
He looks like.
Mate, if there's trouble the next hour, I got your back.
Shift Z. He looks like that. He's a kind of like fairly old guy, maybe in his mid-50s, and he's got a gray beard and this little headband, and he looks kind of wiry and a bit kind of cheeky.
Wiry and cheeky.
Oh, that beer was so good. Thank you so much. Also, you, my substantial friend, for taking that rubble off of me. That was amazing. How did you do that?
what
No
what
problem,
color
dude.
is his clothes?
I just told this guy to do it.
Years of training and also a big gut.
Oh,
How long
that's
have you been under there for?
just before I continue, his clothes are like an olive green.
Oh, that's bad. I'm red-green colorblind.
Oh, I've been here since last night. There was an attack. I was here with the red wizards, and there was all these snake people that just came out of nowhere.
I have immediately gone into Ewan McGregor about to fight General Grievous fingers action.
Oh, wow. Hey, old man, what's this? What's all this finger movement?
Oh, old man, I'm a young man in my late 30s.
General Grievous is the one who agreed.
That's a good reference.
Good old meme.
So he says, I've been here since last night. We were attacked by these snake people. I don't know. It was dark. I couldn't really see them. And they just killed so many people. And then they collapsed.
Sounds good to me.
They're not that bad. They pay well. Holy shit, I'm hungry. Does that beer come with any food, Mr. Entertaining looking man? I am starving as well as
Hey, you hungry?
parched. Very much
no
so.
worries, man.
Can I recognize if this guy's a wizard?
Okay.
Is this guy a magic user intrinsically?
Okay. So you're not trying to specify if he's part of the Red Wizards group. You just want to know if he has a connection to the arcane.
Yeah, so this okay, I don't have the spell detect magic, but I've always this is on a me personal level, I've always kind of considered detect magic a kind of weird, like you can use it to hone and find out more about a magical item if you have detect magic, but typically a wizard or a sorcerer or a bard would know when something, or at least an idea or a person has magical capability or not.
Yeah,
if you
totally.
want to play that rule, that's cool. If you
no,
don't, that's
go
fair.
for it. Just go like an arcana or an insight check. It's not a big thing to try to discern.
Yeah, like Arcana is magical knowledge, but if you know a lot about magical, then you might be able to pick up on hints. But if you want like a definite yes/no lie detector, then that's what the spell is for.
Okay. With a 16 arcana check, you don't notice any of the sort of ageless quality that many wizards and magic users take on, as that much arcane power flows through their body on a regular basis. It sort of stunts the aging process, and you don't notice any of those effects on this gentleman. He seems unaffected by the touch of the arcane to you, but you can't be certain.
Hey, dude, sweet beard. You styled that yourself?
Well, mostly the dust, rubble, and not showering styles this for me.
I'm writing down what he says.
I like the character idea that Fleeb actually is 30, in late 30s. The arcane magic is what's on him and aging process.
You're cutting out a lot, my dude.
I have no idea how to fix that. Well, yeah,
Are
okay,
you
all right,
saying
keep
the
going.
magic aged him faster rather than keeping him
Yes.
And we already established that like loose bits of arcane power just sort of float around his head occasionally.
younger? Sam, just for your understanding of that reference, there is a meme that Paul is an old man. So back in her Snapchat, there was like, it's me, Paul, a young man in my late 30s with like a groovy hippie beard.
I
Oh,
am
that's good.
the old man of our friend group, while being also one of the youngest simultaneously.
He's
Nice.
fully into it.
Sweet.
You've embraced the old man lifestyle.
So this
And
dude, I'm like, hey, what's your name? Tell me what you're doing here. What happened? What were these snake people like?
well, I mean, as I shouted through the rubble, my name is Orvex, and it is
Oh yeah, I
very,
remember that.
very.
I remember we did a bit on that. Sorry, there was some stuff happened.
I'm so glad that my turmoil was so entertaining, but I do appreciate the beer and the beer like facial cleansing. That was lovely.
Yeah, like I don't know to stop pouring until he like splutters. So
So let's get away from the corpses and the wild dogs, I think, and have a little, I don't know, have a little break, and I can catch you up on whatever details you want. Like, for instance, why you're here. It's a death trap. I mean, curious and very interesting, and I mean, I'm gonna stay, but why are you here?
I sort of like-
I look like at the other guys and then look back to him and I just shrug.
Caesar just shrugs as well, so I look at Fleeb.
I aim this guy isn't magical, but he has worked with red wizards, so I'm gonna load effectively a lighter on like the end of a finger and kind of point it at him. No, you first. Why are you here?
Why is anyone anywhere, dude? Like,
Well,
Shut up.
why
I mean,
is
I had flatmates like you, and they died.
I mean, the Red Wizards, I mean, they're a little bit weird and eccentric, but they pay very well. And I was curious about this place. I mean, I'd only heard of it and in stories at that, but I really want to figure out why it's here, what all of its weird little buildings and temples are about. And did you see those graffiti messages? Those were cool, right?
Oh yeah,
thought that
did you
was
see
you.
Hubazan?
Oh yes, I saw that. I have an idea of what that's about, but I am quite hungry and I could use a breather.
Let's go. So can we escape over in this direction and like chill out?
Yes, you can. I will
I'm like-
describe. If everybody would like to go in that direction, I can describe what you see.
As we go over, I'm just like telling him.
I will go with the group.
Yeah, I've got like invisible Scrambles like giving me a beat with a click, and I'm doing the Hubazan song
Nice.
to get this guy looped into it.
Okay, so you walk outside of the compound and you head in the direction of that sort of pool of water and that little building. Do you get all the way there, or do you just want the piece of grass that's between it?
If it looks like not too occupied, then it might be a nice little picnic spot.
From a distance, it doesn't look occupied, but you're a few hundred feet away at this point.
Okay, I'm gonna like look around and then just speak to the empty air and just be like, "Hey, Scrambam, could you go check out that sweet shack?"
I go check out the suite, like, not verbally.
Okay,
Just keep
so
maintaining my
Scrammle's
invisibility.
gonna go check out the building, right?
Yeah, whichever
Okay.
one that Jack's be referencing at the time.
Okay, what does everyone else want to do while that's happening? Is everyone else just hanging out, chatting to Orvex?
Yeah, I mean,
Is there
we're
anything else?
expecting he's only gonna take like a couple of minutes there, so we're just like having a quick chat and laying low, right?
Yeah, I think that's what.
Okay, cool. So what you see, Scramble, is a rectangular pool of murky water that stretches before a vine-draped shrine? Rope bridges that once seemed to have spanned the entire water float on the surface, tangled with other debris and plants and rubble. The shards of a toppled, maybe statue or monolith, form stepping stones to the middle of the pool, where a statue of a stone frog rises above the water.
There.
Sorry, which area is this? Can we just check that for a minute?
It is this area.
Oh, cool. Understood.
And I'll say you guys are kind of like here in the field, and it's just Scramble that's gone ahead.
But I can't see any signs of life. Or
You cannot.
I
No.
can roll stuff if you want me to. I don't need to.
I mean, there's no reason. There's nothing that unless you go inside the building, for example. There's nothing on the outside that even remotely looks like it might be hiding something.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm trying to pay really close attention to the grass to see if Scrammle's walking back.
I'm trying to work out how to indicate that, but like, while how do I?
You can just speak. You won't break invisibility by speaking.
Actually, how close are you?
I don't want this new guy to. In case this, I'm suspicious.
How close are you to the area, Scramble? Like this pool and this building. How close do you actually get?
As close as I could be able to get a good look at it all, and there's nothing there. I don't really have a good gauge of it now.
Okay, give me a perception check just in case.
Yeah, like I'll make sure the outside's alright. Hang on, I'm not speaking to Scrabble, but
Oh wow, 19. Okay, what you see is what look like these two like reeds or stalks popping out of the pool of water, but as you look closely, they look like they have little eyes on the top of the reeds, so they're probably not reeds.
eyes on top of the human eyes or like animal creature eye.
Well, yeah,
eyes.
like imagine something that has eyes at the end of like a long stalky thing, and
Yeah, we're not talking core eyes. That sort of whatever. We're
That's
not
what you
talking
see.
plant Eyes. Yeah. Okay. All right. I will check that Jex is looking in the right direction, and then kick rock to the water to try and indicate there's something in the water.
Okay, so you're going to check to see if Jex is looking, and then kick a rock into the water.
Yeah, in a way that hopefully, yeah, I'm hoping that if you're not looking for it, you won't spot it, but because you're looking for it, he will spot it and get out.
Okay,
Basically what I'm going.
you're breaking up a bit there, but I assume
Oh,
Jex, you
still-
understood most of that.
Yeah.
Closed
So he's
most of
saying
my stuff there.
he's just doing a subtle rock kick, trusting on the fact that I'm keeping an eye out, trying to figure out where he is.
Bingo.
Okay, cool.
To
As that happens, you see the rock sort of skitter across the surface of the water, and then an enormous, like frog-shaped monster emerges and chases, like in the random direction of the rock, and then
dear.
like immediately spots your group, and everybody needs to roll initiative.
Oh, dude, that's not. And then it looks at us. I'm like, oh, dude, shit.
What?
That wasn't the plan.
Oh, that's the big
I
frog.
see the monster and I'm like, hell yeah. And then it looks at me and I'm like, hell no.
That's the big
Well,
frog.
at least it happened before you guys got to the water.
I was gonna say, hey, Orodex, whatever your name is, go have a bath. Just dive right in.
Okay, that
We
means
lost Guy Fiery. We got to get a new mascot.
first to react is Professor Fleeb.
The first thing I do is,
Scream.
cool. Yes, but I'm going to immediately cast Banishment.
Ooh, straight out of the gate. All right. So what kind of check do I have to make?
It is a charisma saving throw.
Against what DC?
Sorry.
I assume it's against my spell DC, which is 14.
Okay, cool. And what was Caesar's question?
I don't know what banishment does.
Well, you're about to find
Banishment.
out.
Okay.
So, yep.
No. Just resolve it.
Yep.
See what happens.
Okay, I'll give you a heads up. You've chosen a good stat. He has a -3 to his charisma. So if he rolls well, it's not my fault.
That's fair.
Oh, he rolls a 0. Okay, so the creature.
Right.
You see this giant creature. Yeah, you can describe it.
So there is a small, and it's gone.
You banish the target. I think it only works for
It goes to a different plane.
Right. Okay.
Up to 1 minute.
So here's the thing: if it is of this plane and it's meant to be here, it will come back in a minute, and it gives us a minute to prepare. If it's not of this plane,
It
it's
goes
gone.
home forever.
Yeah. So if it's a demon, or if it's a elemental, or if
Or
it's just one of those
outsider or
creatures
whatever.
that is not of the material plane, which is where we are, it's gone. Otherwise, we've got a minute to prepare.
What a move.
Okay, cool. So I'll say that nothing happens. You guys can use your turns now to.
Prepare.
Does it repeat a saving throw or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Because it comes after a minute, like it either happens or
Sweet.
it doesn't. I don't believe it's like a sustained thing.
Yeah,
'Cause
no, it
if
just
something's
remains
from
there.
another plane, it has to be summoned to your plane.
Okay, so you've got 10
And that's-
rounds. What is it that you would like to do with that time? You could use it to
Let's-
run away, ready actions. What would you
No,
like
let's
to do?
plant a bunch of spears around it so that it can't easily move around where it was. And then get ready to this thing's awesome. We gotta I'm just like, dudes! Wait, what are you saying, Fleeb? Because you just made I'm like, where'd it go? That thing was cool!
Right, okay. I've put it somewhere. Like imagine I've put it in a box. If it doesn't if it doesn't want to be in the box, are we back here in about 55 seconds?
Okay, so we're gonna fight it, right?
Sure. Get ready for that in 52 seconds.
Alright, dudes, this is gonna be awesome. I grab like a bunch of javelins and start jabbing them in in like just whatever marsh or whatever solid thing I can find around it.
Okay, so let's just to give everyone, the chance to react. Let's do one round of people reacting, and then you guys can spend the rest of the 9 turns however you want to do it. Caesar, what do you do?
I've just seen something that I've never believed possible. I'm
and me
looking
both,
at
brother.
Plebe with bewilderment and going, I don't know what's happening anymore. But I presume I can just ready.
Oh, I've got a bottle of Wicked for some Foley
Help,
work.
help,
For,
you-
How,
for
how,
Fleeb's
how big?
spell.
How big was this frog? How big was this?
It was very, very big. Like probably the
I was
biggest
just wondering whether I
thing
could prepare
you've
to
seen.
grapple it immediately when it reappears, but I don't think that's going to work.
What a fucking sight that
honest,
would be.
Like I'm just gonna stand next to Fleeb and wait.
Is it as big as the dragon we saw?
Let me check. Was that a red dragon? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a young red dragon.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Internet, waiting. Give me 1 second. No, bigger than that.
Right.
This thing's awesome. This thing's heavy metal, dude.
I'm not too sure we can fight it.
Heck yeah, we can!
Like the graffiti on the wall, like I don't trust red wizards, but I trust them to care about their own life.
I mean, the Red Wizards didn't leave that graffiti, did they?
Are you sure about that?
No.
What was the graffiti saying about the frog?
Beware the frog monster.
Like normally Caesar wants to go fighting things, but he's like, maybe I've not ranked enough
sure about this one,
mastery
you know?
belts yet.
Dude, this is awesome. Come on.
Okay, so
This is
Caesar stands beside Fleeb and waits. Is that what he's doing so far?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Mainly to defend the guy that was so powerful
like,
enough.
The first
that he made it
the first
disappear.
6 seconds, that Caesar is how he's part of the conversation, so we can resolve that as like as his first action. There's just kind of generic panic conversation for
I'm
Caesar.
just getting a call. I'll
Yeah.
jump away for a sec.
Move on to Jack doing stuff.
Okay, I think he said he needed to step away for a sec, but let's move on to
Yeah,
Jex's
I'm
turn.
just throwing everyone like javelins and spears. I'm telling them to make a ring around this thing.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna do
This
a call. I'll be right-
this thing spends its turn being banished. Next up is Orvex. Orvex says, "Oi, guys, listen." And he's kind of rubbing his forehead and closing his eyes as if this has just like been the worst 24 hours of his life. And he says, "I'm a little under the weather right now. I mean, great work making that thing disappear, but why aren't we running away?" He spends his action asking you that. You can respond because we're in kind of limbo at the moment.
Well,
Because this guy
legitimately, there's
wants
only
to
like
tame it.
that guy that wants to fight this thing.
What did you say, Caesar?
Essentially what Philippe said.
Oh, gotcha. And Scramble? You're still invisible, so you can't really talk to
He's
him.
still pretending he's not here.
I am. You're like those of you who saw me going. You just hear, oh fuck, the wind.
Okay, so in that
I
case,
think what I'm going to say to Philippe and also the guy that I keep on forgetting his name on like Orodex.
Orvex.
Orvex. Orodex is something from Death Stranding, which I've been playing recently, so that's why I keep on defaulting to saying that. But
Nice.
Philippe, as your hired bodyguard, I think we should leave. Jax can fight this if he wants, but
I'd like
Did you see
to.
the size of it?
Can you see the what?
Did you see the size of it?
Oh, you were saying that to Fleeb.
Yeah.
Yes. I had to concentrate real hard to get all of it.
Okay, so what Orvex is going to do is sort of see you guys say that and have that conversation with him and go, okay, I see. I mean, I do appreciate you guys helping me out from that rubble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hide behind that tree. And then he jogs over behind a tree and rolls a stealth check. And he has... Okay, he rolls an 11. So you can kind of see the ends of his feet and his elbows sort of sticking out from behind the tree.
I sort of like whisper, like, that he's not bad bait.
He's not what? Sorry. What was that?
He's not bad bait.
Oh shit. Now you're talking about language.
Right. What am I going to do? Actually, the realistic thing is what I'm actually going to do in preparation of everything else is if we end up back at my turn, I tap Caesar immediately on the shoulder and flipping paper whirls around him briefly until it puffs into an existence and you now have mage armor.
Okay, just before we get to that, Scramble, what would the invisible rock kicker like to do?
Hang on. I'd like to clarify something and then maybe do something like clarification. We went in this direction because this guy's.
Eddie, you're breaking up really heavily.
I don't solution.
We went in this direction because Bear thought it was a good place where we would be able to talk to
Right,
Orvex.
Bear, not NPC.
Correct.
Fine. Alright. No, I just.
Bear is now so currently at the moment, Jex is running forward, putting down spears.
Yeah.
If you go and do the action to put down spears, you will become visible.
No, I'm staying invisible. I will position myself so that I can still see the NPC, but also to still hear comes back.
Okay, so you're going to keep Orvex in vision and sort of also watch the space where the Froghemoth disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
sweet.
follow these guys' lead, basically.
Okay, next up is Professor Fleeb, and that means that we've completed one round of the 10 rounds. So you've got 9 left.
Yeah. Okay, here's an outside question. Do I know this thing is of the material plane?
To be honest, you don't, but you could make a check. So that would be...
Cool, that's fine.
That would be, goodness me, it wouldn't really be Arcana.
Nature?
Nature, yeah, let's do Nature. Oh, natural 20. Yes, you are confident that this is from the material plane.
So it's definitely coming back.
Although,
it is just a big frog.
Yeah, although it is kind of fucked up looking and probably had some arcane influence in its ancestry at some point, it is kind of a strain of frog.
It is meant to be here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, am I allowed to do that? And also cast Mage Armor on Caesar, or have I just taken my turn trying to remember or trying to just work out whether this thing was at the material plane? Because that can be delayed by 6 seconds.
I tend to make those decisions on the fly. Like some people some DMs say that a check of any kind is the same as an action, but I kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. So that's fine that you just could sort of consult your mental directory or use your instincts, and then you can cast Mage Armor on Caesar.
Cool. Okay. Caesar, you have Mage Armor for the next 8 hours. So anything that happens today, most likely, you're going to have an extra 4 AC.
Nice.
And we worked that out because it's Dexterity score +3 or something?
Mage Armor, no. So Mage Armor works where if I you get +4 I had to check. I think it might be. I think it's +4 AC if you wear no armor, and he's a monk.
Yeah, but it's Mage Armor is more complex than that. It says that your AC is now calculated differently.
Oh no, sorry. Yes, sorry. The target AC becomes 13 plus its dexterity modifier. Sorry, it's +3. So instead of it being +10 plus the dex modifier, it's 13 plus the dex modifier.
Okay.
So now my AC is 15 because I have +2 dex.
Okay, cool. But also, like, it raised the question last time of, I think monks get a pretty good way to calculate their AC just with their own class. So it's worth like checking in with Bear and myself about how that is being done and whether you could be getting more out of your AC or not, or you can just choose to have the character like spec'd out the way you chose to.
Yeah, I remember that we've had this conversation before because I think it's wisdom that influences
Your
unarmed defense from monk.
Wiz and Dex, both of them together, I think.
Yeah.
So your wisdom modifier is probably like 0 or something?
It's +1.
Okay, so +1, +2 is +3, plus your base of 10. Okay, so usually it's probably like 13 or something, right?
Yeah, I think I'd move like my con into Dex or something. I'd shuffle it around. But I forgot that we had this conversation. I didn't do it.
Okay,
So,
cool. At least we've covered that off. Right, is that the end of Professor Fleeb's turn?
It could be like Strength Wiz as well, because that way you're like you've got your combat and you got your backup stat. And Wiz is adding into your. But anyway.
Caesar Chameleon, you hear the riffling of dusty book pages and you feel yourself enveloped in the musty-smelling protective aura of Professor Fleeb.
Hot.
It's your call, Fleeb. Like you. If you want to stay here, if you want to stay here and fight, we're gonna fight. But
like we know it's here. We can leave it here. It clearly doesn't want to leave, and we can be better prepared for it. We've just given us a minute. Let's go.
okay. So I guess I'd go in front of Fleeb, near to where Jex is setting up his trap, and there's nothing else for me to do other than hold an action for attack.
Okay, cool.
Oh, sorry. By let's go, I was meaning let's leave.
Oh, sorry. I thought.
Yeah, you said it. Dudes, this is gonna be the most epic battle. This is gonna get us so much.
Jesus Christ!
Look at that thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you and going, "You're crazy."
Dude, we survived a dragon. What's this thing gonna do to
Only
us?
because I gave away the most valuable item I owned.
It's a big frog. What's it gonna do to us?
It's bigger than the dragon.
With that, I think Caesar is going to like just start walking away. If we can start going towards the other guy and going up outside the complex past him.
You're gonna head
the way I'm
north.
gonna walk. Yeah.
You're gonna head north and try to get Orvex's attention on the way.
Yeah.
Can we actually try and go back into the buildings and like? Was there anything in the complex area that we noticed that was there anything that I noticed that I wanted to remember to go back to? In the previous complex.
You only saw the corpses, the wild dogs, and like a big spear that had like a banner with a twisted like snake symbol on it.
Oh yes, of course, yeah. The Yuan-Ti. Yeah, let's go north.
Okay, so this is on Caesar's turn. How are you going to get Orvex's attention?
So, hey, Orvex, is everything in this city massive and reptilian?
He says, well, I don't know how you can see me, but there's quite a few of those. Yes, where are you going?
I'm just talking to your feet at the moment. I'm just walking away from this thing. Like, Jex, our entertainment friend, is like, a bit crazy, so he can fight it by himself.
dudes, this is gonna be awesome, and you keep walking away, and I'm like
He
sort
is
of following,
deluded.
but
He
I
is
keep
a
trying to.
deluded person.
If you're walking
Let's
away,
leave.
I'm like trying to be like, come on, dudes, this is gonna be great, but I'm following along, like
Jax,
at a
come
distance.
on.
I'm like,
Okay.
oh, dude, you suck, dude. And
Okay,
I am
so
coming with you.
Orvex sees Caesar, one of the people who physically lifted the rocks off of his prison and likely death, and says, "Oh, great! The walking away, like awesome. Yeah, let me just come with you." And he sort of trots along beside you. Okay, next up is Jax.
I mean, so I'm gradually following along at a distance, but while trying to like appeal. So like
Okay.
I'm at the, I was near it, started to set things up, and I see them walking away, and I'm like, dudes, come back, and I'm like acting like I'm gonna stay there. Like, come on, dudes, this is gonna rock. Look, we got a guy here. He survived loads of these things already. We can do this.
In
I'm
in
pointing
my
to Orvex.
in my head, it's like someone queuing up for the new iPad outside the Apple Store and just like trying to get everyone to stay and wait for the big reveal.
Yeah, it's basically like that. But then everyone like walks away, and eventually, after standing still, when they get like 100 meters away, I start like jogging after them.
Okay, no worries.
But
That
I'm
is
like I wanted to see this thing. That was so cool.
okay. So that is how Jack spends his turn. Next turn, that thing spends its turn being banished. Orvex says, "Thanks again. Listen for taking that rubble off of me, and the entertainment fellow helped as well. But you were definitely lifting a lot of those rocks. I really appreciate it."
No worries. Let's keep you alive for longer by getting away from this frog.
He looks
Do you know?
like
Do you know anywhere around here that we can go? Or
okay. He's gonna do a little mental check, and he's gonna say, "Yeah, I mean, north, just sort of round the northern side of the compound is a pretty quiet area. I think we'll be safe there for a little while." And he kind of points in this direction.
cool. Well, let's head that way.
And now that you've got a closer look at him, he smells bad. He looks bad. He's got like bleeding cuts from a lot of his body, and he's kind of just limping along.
Cool.
Cool. Next up
Dude, haven't
is
you always wanted to see a giant frog, man?
Well, you did.
We
Very
did see it, and
briefly.
then it disappeared.
okay. So Scramble.
I follow out,
Okay, you
maintaining
follow.
the invisibility.
I'll say, how closely do you follow the group?
Like a few meters behind.
Okay, that seems fine. Okay, next up, Professor Fleeb.
We're going to keep just walking away. I might kind of make it quite a hurried shuffle. I will say, we will return here, Jax, but I think we need to find out a bit more about this place.
Okay, sweet. You can respond, and I'll say we're out of combat now because you guys are well and truly out of the area.
I think we're effectively just evacuating now. We're spending the minute or the remaining 30 seconds just getting out of Dodge.
Cool.
I'm just already like starting to compose songs about how epic our battle against the frog hemoth was.
Nice. Okay, so invisible over here. Okay, awesome. So about 30 or 40 seconds later, you guys hear like a sound, and you hear like a and then a couple of seconds later, you hear like the sound of a giant thing falling into the water, like sploosh, and you hear that distantly.
Phew.
I look puppy dog sad.
I'm surprised you didn't like poke your head round the corner for a last.
I mean, we've gone far enough away from it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so Orvex basically takes this opportunity as soon as you get round the corner, and he just sits down on the edge of this sort of like palm tree thicket, and he just sits down and he looks like fucking exhausted. And then he like lies down on his back and says, "Listen, I'm just gonna take a quick little breather here." Whew. And he just sort of like almost looks like he's napping, but still somehow awake.
All right, dudes, picnic time. We were gonna have a picnic with a cool frog, but I guess we gotta have it here. And I guess I'll make some food because he's hungry. He said.
What did Fleeb want to say?
What I was trying to remind myself what I can do on a quick rest.
Once a day, you can restore some spell slots, right?
I think if you have your spell book, you
rest.
can use Arcane Recovery.
So you can get up to 4 total spell slots back. So you can a level 4 or any combination that adds up to 4.
Oh, I'll get that banishment back.
But yeah, that's once a day, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very good. Very
And
good.
you want to have back for giant frog.
A level 4 spell slot coming back, pretty good.
Is there any way that we can like use prestidigitation on Orvek to clean him up, or
Yeah, that would
I,
definitely clean him up substantially.
I don't have it, so
I
I-
think I do.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
think I do, but I'm not breaking invis for that.
I do
I mean,
have it.
This long rest will be a minimum of an hour, so at some point you will become
Long
visible.
rest?
Short rest.
Short rest.
Short rest of an hour.
Rats.
You can keep exploring Invis if you don't mind the risk.
I mean, I don't have anything to do in a short rest, so yeah, I might just have a little wander and then come back just before the invis breaks.
I
or,
mean,
like...
me neither, but I got snacks to make. There's always snacks to make.
Oh, that's true. Well, I'm invis. I'm just gonna have a little wander. I'm not looking
You
for
go
anything
wander
specific.
away.
I'm just
waiting,
like
yeah, you're waiting
scouting
for the
for
scent.
any people, really, scouting for any signs of life or anything like that to be
Okay,
worried
well,
about.
tell me the direction you're going in, and then we'll make a perception check.
He said that the north side of town was pretty.
He said the north side of town was, well, the north side of the walled compound where you currently are.
North side of the wall. Right. So, yeah, I want to explore in. So, yes, I want to make sure he's not leading us somewhere dodgy. So I guess north, but wind like gradually north, sort of thing.
Okay, so make a perception check, please.
That gets that one.
Oh wow, natural one. You notice a lot of abandoned buildings covered in vines. They seem old.
Yep.
And that's about all you conclude. You don't notice
Cool.
anyone or anything other than these buildings.
That sounds like a to observe.
Awesome. What would anyone else like to do during this short rest?
If I'm allowed to, while I'm kind of regaining my banishment, can I speak to Orvex as to why he specifically is here? He's clearly not a red wizard, but why is he here? And why is he here with red wizards? He was paid for something.
Well, I mean, he sort of sits up half from his prostrate. No, that's not it. Recumbent position. But then he lies back down and just talks to you while lying on his back. And he says, well, they had a lot of gold to offer. They kept mentioning this thing called like a soul monger that they were trying to get, destroy, steal.
That sounds like a whip moment. Is this the whoop moment for me?
Not this specifically, but it's
Cool,
sort
that'll
of
do.
like, to be honest, like it sounds significant to you, but not because of your mission that brought you here, but just because of the what was I gonna say? It just has significance to you, but you're not sure of
Cool.
what.
Stood. Yes, I might be able to. No, it's gone.
So what is a soulmonger? I ask naively of Orvex.
He says, well, I mean, they weren't awfully clear on it. I mean, I have a theory, but I think it's linked to this curse that seems to be preventing the people in this area from, coming back to life with the standard arcane spells. And sort of once people have come back to life, they sort of look a bit zombie-ish. To me, I think it's linked to that, but they just, I don't know, they spoke about it in terms of safeguarding it, harnessing it, stealing it, getting rid of it, destroying it. I mean, they were all kind of a bit conflicted about it, to be honest.
Huh.
Actually, let's have Professor Fleeb roll a...
Wait a second, that sounds like what those last guys were talking about.
Which ones? Or was I not here for that?
No, the people who... The whole thing about people not coming back to life and coming back as zombies was something that the previous party was talking about a lot.
That you guys never really worked out.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Well, I heard a bit more of it than
Eddie did. Okay.
Yeah,
is
that's
this an arcane roll, history roll?
Yeah, give me a history roll. Oh, wow, 25. Okay. It's starting to come back to you a little bit that this item seems to be something that was uncovered during your studies, and it may have been part of the reason that you came here and may have even have come to this particular city before. Like flashes of it seem familiar, like that street, that wall kind of it
That
tickled.
frog.
Yeah, it. I mean, you don't remember the frog specifically, but it starts to tickle your memory that this is something that you sort of remember from. It feels like a past life almost. I'm gonna get Caesar to make a perception check for me, please.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, you notice four what appear to be snake people sort of hiding out in the bushes by the cliff, the foot of the cliff just over here. They're a couple of 100 feet away from you at the moment, but they look like they're watching you, and it looks like you've seen them, but if you're subtle about it, they may not know about it.
I think so. They're a couple 100 feet away from us, right?
Yeah, like at the foot of the cliff, like in some bushes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not really worried about them overhearing me, but I will drop my voice and whisper to Phlebe. I think we're being watched.
Almost. Definitely.
Don't turn round or anything.
Mhm.
But there's some snake people
Oh shit.
watching us from the bushes, just where we've come from. So
Oh, this is me speaking. That so where we've come from, they're south of us.
I think they're over there,
okay.
right?
Yeah, west of you.
Okay. Oh shit.
You guys can roll your hit dice, by the way. You've probably got to the point where you've completed a short rest at this point. And you can roll a cooking check for me as well, Jax.
Ooh, yeah. Let me just remember how to do that. I believe it's Dex +3 plus a D4.
Just before my I guess, yeah, just before my wears off, I head back to where these guys were, and then as my wears off, come around the corner, oh, that's where you guys have been.
You see Orvex jumps and goes, "What? Who? Hi, are you? Is he
Oh,
with
I've been
you?"
looking all over for you guys. New guy, I say. What, Orvek? What was it? I don't remember.
How do you know my name? We're not friends. I don't
That
know
was-
you.
Lucky
Hey, don't
guess.
worry, Orvex. This guy knows how to drink a beer and then throw a beer to Scramble.
I go to shotgun it, but I don't really know how
Do
to
you even
shotgun
catch
beer.
it? Do you
Yeah,
even
let's
catch it?
give us a
Oh.
dexterity check, Scramble.
Dex check.
It's
I'm
what you
alright
should
at
be
Dex.
high at.
Oh,
Wow.
well, I mean,
Okay.
it's like having
See,
a +7.
I'm gonna see if I get at least a 10, then I did a good enough throw for you to. No,
No,
you just
no.
fumble it.
Yeah,
Well, the
it
throw was
basically.
a poor throw.
You pick it it spills a little bit, but then you pick it up. Before it's
Are
all
we
done.
literally saying here that Scramble the food snatcher failed to snatch food out of midair?
Yeah.
I didn't do that good a throw. It was an okay throw, and he didn't do that good a catch. So he
I'm
managed.
used to
No,
stealing
no,
food,
no,
not
guys,
catching
this
it out
is-
of midair.
This is a throwing beer check. A 9 and a 10 are abysmal. Like you threw the beer and Scramble closed his hand too soon, and it just bounces off his fist, his knuckles, and just hits the ground. It doesn't.
that
Most
hurts.
important check of the
Ow.
campaign.
It doesn't break, but a third of it spills out, basically.
Use a luck point, dude.
I don't have a luck point. I would if I could.
Well, you get 2/3 of a beer.
Well, Orvex says, well, he turns to after he's got the vote of confidence from Jax, he turns to Caesar and sort of says, "Is this guy legit? I mean, he can't catch very well. Is he on the level?"
Don't need to catch when you're too busy.
He's also not very good at one-liners. I mean, can we trust him?
You're too busy. You pause, and then you just take a tiny sip of beer.
yeah. Like I meant. I just have this faraway look for a few seconds, and it takes a bit. Yeah, that will do. Nailed it.
Caesar shrugs shrugs
busy.
Wait.
the Orvex and goes, "He's all right."
Okay,
I'm gonna
all
turn
right.
my camera on just for a bit of an enactment of what I see this as being like.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh
Let me
wow!
grab this bottle.
Holy shit! There's a
What
lot
were your
happening.
words again? What were your
Lies.
words?
Whose words?
They were. What was it? You don't need to be good at catch. Wait, hang on. It was something.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said you
Too
don't need to be
busy.
good at catching when you're
When
too
you don't need to be
busy.
good at
Good at
catching when you're
catching
too busy.
When you're too busy.
Ah, come on, man. I'm not that bad. Like, there's a clear few seconds of where I'm trying to think of a word, and then I just like take a sip of beer, like I didn't need to. Like that was the end of the like trying to play it off as if that was the end of the sentence, even though it clearly wasn't.
Nice. Well, you see Orvex say, all right then, okay. And then he tries some of Jax's food and he says, oh, thanks. And he looks at you and you can sort of tell that he's being polite and he says, oh, I'm so hungry. I would have eaten. I mean, this is great. I really appreciate it.
What was your cooking rule? I didn't.
It was like an
11.
11 or something.
I'm like, dude,
Okay.
dude, you don't need to sugarcoat this. It's fine. But I know that.
Oh, good, good. I mean, I'm new to hopefully this group, and I didn't
Look,
know
dude,
how to
something
do
really
it.
important here is honesty. All of us agree. All of us are really big on honesty all the time.
If that's
Oh,
the
what
case,
you're
could
talking
I
about.
have the salt, please? This needs way more salt.
yeah.
And then he
right.
says, listen, I mean, I don't want to ask more of you, but I would really like to, I'm a little bit vulnerable here without, my employers. Would you mind if I tagged along with you guys for a little bit? I can tell you all about the city.
Sounds
While
good.
this is going on, I just casually in the middle plop down a tiny hut. Because I know there's Yonti on the outside and that stops projectiles getting in, I think.
Caesar, you notice, and I'll say that Professor, you also were pointed in the direction by Caesar, and you notice those Yonti are sort of like receded into the bushes, or they've relocated elsewhere. You can't really tell, but you can't see them anymore.
Is that before or after I've cast my tiny hut?
Well, you didn't really look until after you'd cast it, so
Cool, that's fine. I
yeah.
will take the spell slot.
Cool. And then what was I talking about just before that? Oh, he says, yeah, listen, he explains that he's, just would really appreciate hanging out with you guys, at least until I can find safety somewhere. I mean, I'm totally happy to help you guys on your journey, although I'm not really clear on what your journey is, but do you mind if
What
I
is yours?
hang out?
Hell yeah, dude.
What is your reason for being here? You said you were paid well, but and the Red Wizards paid well, but what did you provide to them?
Well,
you say.
I am something of an expert on these Omuan ruins. I'm one of the few people that can actually read the inscriptions. I'm actually quite familiar with this city, although you wouldn't probably know that for, being stuck under a fallen building. But, I feel like I know this place quite well. If you've got a moment, I can tell you a little bit of what I've learned so far, if you like.
Well, I've put down the tiny hut now, so why not?
Nothing
We're
says
eating, aren't we?
nothing says story time like a tiny hut. Okay, so he says, all right, and nice work on this shiny dome, by the way. I feel much safer now.
Is Flea bald?
It can be.
Well, he did just say good work on your shiny dome.
Yeah, but I'm wearing a wizard hat, so you wouldn't know what my head of hair was.
Yeah, but
Do you
might
ever
not.
take your hat off?
No.
Alright.
You might take a moment and be like, how did he know?
For a brief sort of hang on a minute.
So, basically, this is Omu, and it is something of a forgotten city. I mean, stories of the 9 trickster gods sort of died with the Omoans who worshipped them. So I've kind of pieced it together from inscriptions and little things I found around the city when I'm not being almost killed. And, long ago, it's said that Obtoa, the god that used to inhabit this land, hardened his heart and vowed to sort of weep for these people no more. He kind of got a bit sick of them, to be honest. The rains stopped, the jungles withered and died, and death sort of swept through this city. Then one morning, there's this, I don't know, I assume it's one of the trickster gods, but the inscription said Zorbo. She emerged from her hollow tree and sort of spoke to these Omuans that used to inhabit the city. And, she said that she would convince Uptoa of their worth to try to, get his favor back. And she decided to cook him a stew, Uptoa, made from all their good qualities. And it wasn't like puppy dog tails or anything like that. It was sort of catching such virtues as, it wouldn't be easy, but wily Almiraj would help her. So Almiraj snuck recklessly into the pot, which she saw as a virtue. Recklessness she felt was a virtue for some reason. And then Obtoa spat out the stew when he tasted it. From that day on, Obalaka, the Zorbo, and Uljin, the Almiraj, became terrible enemies. Okay, I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm just translating the inscriptions. There's quite a few others like these, but I remember hearing you guys talk about... what was that name? Kubazan. Okay, I remember reading something about that. When it just says, and it's completely out of context, it says, when evening came, a wily Eblis, a creature of some kind, stepped from his reed hut. He didn't like the Omuans, but without them, he'd have no one to play his tricks on. The Eblis sent a marsh frog to reason with Uptoa. There's a lot of reasoning with Uptoa, because he's kind of forsaken them, I assume. But the frog was angry and decided to wrestle the god instead. This amused Uptoa, so he gave the frog tentacles to make it stronger. When Kubazan, the frog-hemoth, returned to Papazotl the Eblis, he chased Papazotl into the swamp with his new tentacles. Now, I'd never really understood the significance of that story, but it kind of sounds quite a bit like that big frog monster from before. I don't really get the connection, but I don't know, it seems like too much of a coincidence. What do you think?
Big frog, big frog.
Yeah, big
all gods
tentacle
to me.
frog sounds awesome to me.
You've already written half a song already about Ubazan. We just never
Hubazan.
knew it was the frog.
I thought Hubazan meant bravery.
Maybe it was a brave
That's
frog.
Hubazan and that's Kubazan. Those are two different words, right?
Maybe. I'm just translating it. I'm pretty sure I've got it right, but anyway, I'll tell you one more story because it's got kind of one of my favorite things in it. I find it funny every time.
Stories?
Oh, I hope it's about those trickster gods. They sound great.
Unk. It's a weird.
Who
it's
is
a weird.
Unk?
Well,
Who is Unk?
Unk is a
Let him tell
flail.
the story, man.
Unk is a flail snail, one of my favorite creatures because it's a snail that has flails at the end of its head that it hits you with. Fucking hilarious. Unk, the flail snail, lived deep under the earth. The noise of the other animals fighting made her slither up to the surface, and when day dawned over her shell, the light blinded Uptoa and made his eyes water. Life returned to Omu, and the people built shrines to honor the animals who'd saved them. Now, I have a suspicion that the shrines are sort of some of these buildings in this city are probably the shrines that they're talking about in these stories, but again, it's all sort of out of context and sort of fables, but this is the theory I'm working on so far. What do you think?
Yeah.
I like it.
I've just started jamming on Hubazan again.
I don't understand all of it.
I'm
but I
bringing
do
in
like
the new
all of
things. Unk sat alone in a froggy marsh.
That's a song I've only just discovered recently.
Whoa, what a jump! Sorry.
The building that
alright.
we were next to before, this one, with the frog,
Mhm. Yeah.
now being told that there's shrines dedicated to animals and stuff, was there, on recollection, any clues that it was like the frog shrine, or?
There was a statue of a frog in the middle of the pool.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
That'd do it.
I was gonna say, beware the frog, and then we met him, and I forgot all about that.
And he says, yeah, so, I mean, I'm sure more of these will come back to me as we sort of come across them. I mean, it's hard to remember these. I've just memorized those because they got funny animals that I liked in them, or I don't know, I remembered it because we came up to that frog place and that kind of rang a bell, but I'm sure other ones of them will come to me. So do you mind if I tag along and give you some help, perhaps?
Hell yeah. I'm going to come up with a song with him about flail snails.
Nice.
Okay,
Ooh, I feel much better.
You've gained 1 NPC.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So far, we have translator.
Useful one to have, to be fair.
Get flask. Flask is attached. Okay, sweet. So what would you guys like to do? You're inside a tiny hut. Orvex looks a little bit more hale and healthy than before. He looks sort of tapping his belly after he's been slamming down the sort of medium good food.
But we can get going. Like the hut was primarily until what I felt with the Yonti had gone. Which, if I feel the Yonti have gone, then we will probably move on. What time of day is it at this point?
You guys left. I'll say it's like 1:30 to 2 p.m.
We have time to move on then. Shall we move? What are the buildings that are to the north of us? Is there anything about those buildings that is interesting of note?
They look just kind of like small, perhaps residences or things that used to be shops, but they're kind of covered in vines now, and it's really hard to determine without closer inspection what they're about.
I will go up close to the one that is closest to us, so this one here.
Okay, cool. Just let me have a little description for you. Okay, so you're going to go inside it, or are you looking from the outside?
Yes, I will go inside it. I will try to enter it.
Okay, cool. So I am going to get you to roll an investigation check, please.
Sure. Investigation.
Okay. I'm going to roll...
High rolls coming out tonight.
I'm going to roll a D100 just to see what kind of stuff we get here. Okay. As you go inside this building, you see a thin sort of blue mist swirl around you, and it seems harmless at first, but you start to feel like, I don't know, a bit sick.
Oh, shit.
So make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, that's probably one of my bad ones.
Oh, goodness. Okay, God. I've just been referred
58.
I've just been referred to like 3 different rolling tables here, so just bear
Your
with
arm
me.
falls off, and
Paul, if you're
Holy-
gonna go on a solo little adventure in a dangerous jungle temple, at least get some inspiration before you go.
like I'm literally just going to the house that's next to us.
Okay, so goodness
What did he
gracious
just
me.
warn you about, Paul?
Okay, so this is gonna be all right, and then we're gonna roll one of these. I feel like it's more ominous to show you the rolls as they're happening.
Just random numbers, like there's a 2 and a 4.
You're
That can mean
rolling
anything.
pretty low,
That sounds
Paul.
pretty bad.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
but if it's on a D100, it's gonna be fucking anything. Like low and high
Okay.
is irrelevant.
You feel your consciousness and your sort of awareness of your personality recede into yourself, and
Oh, well, I didn't have much of that to start with.
and you become physically paralyzed. You're sort of mid-step, about 10 feet into this building. After a couple of minutes, you guys notice that Professor Fleeb is missing. What do you do?
Like,
Did you leave the door open?
I didn't close it, I don't think.
The door has long rotted away.
Oh. Can we see him?
It depends. Did you follow him or did you let him go in by himself?
I mean, if we
He wandered off while we were doing something else. Then who knows? But if we just if he literally just walked away from us like a minute ago in that obvious direction.
I think I kind of was like, well, we've been here a lot, we've eaten the food, it's 2:00, let's do some more searching.
Caesar definitely would have been.
I definitely made an active call, I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, you would have like notified people.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll say they're standing outside the door roughly, and then you notice they notice that he hasn't returned. What does the rest of the group do? You could probably, if you he's not that far away, and if you go to look at him, you see him sort of standing stock still in the middle of the passageway.
Do we see the gas? Is
Reeb, are you okay?
Yes,
Well,
you
that'll
see
blast
you
us,
see
yeah.
the blue mist surrounding him.
That dude's like wrapped up in mist. That doesn't look good.
Is he smoking?
Here, let's.
Is he high? Because if he is, why did I know about this?
I'm gonna dispel magic on him if he's not responding to us.
Okay, cool. You also
go.
notice this place is covered in vines beyond the mist. So give me your whatever roll you were. Oh, you're dispelling magic. Okay.
Yep.
You notice Professor Fleeb's body starts to unstiffen, and you feel movement
If you're
come back to you.
cursed, you won't be for long. Time to dispel magic with a cool song.
With like the feeling of like a really bad cramp, I begin to immediately back away quite quickly.
Okay, you back out of the building, newly, possibly terrified about mist.
So that mist maybe not move.
Wow, Ulvex says, "Listen, I would have warned you, but I've never seen that before. I mean, I haven't gone into too many of these buildings. I've just sort of read the inscriptions on the big sort of temple-looking things. But yeah, I would approach maybe the buildings tentatively." And he's sort of scratching his head at the time.
Can you explain further?
Well, I mean, I haven't experienced this before, but I mean, there's nothing in the inscriptions about it, but I mean, if it's affected this building, chances are it's affected a bunch of them. None of them are particularly in good repair, let's put it that way.
Fair
Oh,
point.
just a note. When we left lunch, I left a little portion out just with a scrap of paper saying "for the snakes."
All right, let me roll a D100 check to see how that goes. Okay,
Really well.
You don't know what that means.
Really, really well.
Cool.
I can't even see the result 'cause I'm on the sofa with the boys.
16.
Okay, so from that, can I work out where that smoke came from?
Blue
Where
mist?
yes, where it came from? Is there like a
you-
source of it? Is
you
it like
can
an object,
roll-
or is it natural, or?
I'll say you can roll. What the hell would this be? Let's say an Arcana check.
Ooh, that was a bad Arcana check from me.
You got a good sniff of it, so.
You get the sense that it's not natural in the sense that you haven't noticed it in many other places, but you're not sure if it's like natural magic or arcane magic. It's kind of unclear.
Right. So, everyone, avoid the blue mist. Otherwise, you'll be paralyzed for God knows how long. Thank you, Jax, by the way.
I give him the rocks a hand sign.
I try to do it and probably accidentally give him the middle finger.
Please remember why you brought me to this godforsaken land. Make me go into the buildings first next time.
Oh yes, that's a good point.
Oh yeah, you two came together, didn't you? Huh.
Oh yeah, I remember now. You told us when you first met that you hired this guy.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Right. Okay.
So, Orvex,
I just assumed you guys were friends.
did
I
the
just assumed you guys
go on.
were lovers.
Well, I was trying to be polite about it.
Yes, Caesar, you have a question?
yeah, so Orvex, so you were here with the red robe guys, but surely they must have been fixated towards a certain building, or were trying to find something. Do you reckon they found it, or?
He is going to do a check, but I'm going to do it sort of. I'm going to whisper it to myself
Privately,
in technical terms, and then we'll see how much he remembers or doesn't remember. Okay. He says, I mean.
Were they looking for a shrine or one of the
I
animal
think
shrines?
What
there
they
was 9 shrines
What they
on
seem to
that
be.
graffiti.
They seem to be thinking or aiming for north. I mean, they kept talking about working their way north and sort of working their way through the shrines until they get to the northernmost point. But, I don't know how much they've been able to achieve since I lost them last night. But I think they were talking about their eventual destination is kind of way north into the city, but they needed to make some stops first. Does that help at all?
I guess so. It gives us a direction.
Yeah, Jex, what was that quote on the the graffiti?
Beware the king of feathers.
Yes, the one about the shrines bit.
The one about the shrine. Hold on a second. Let me check my notes.
Hey.
He opens up like a book of sheet music that just has a bunch
It's like
of like
it's just
words.
a rhyming book. It's just a book of rhymes that I've written down. Shrines. I don't remember anything about shrines, dude.
Book of
Wasn't
rhymes.
it
Wait,
something about
Eric
shrines?
went in search of the 9
Ham?
shrines.
Yes, search the 9 shrines.
Eric, the nine shrines. Of course I wrote that down. 9 shrines, it rhymes.
Right, okay. So we found Froggy Shrine. Was there something that looked like a shrine in the previous complex we were in, where there was the dogs?
Your recollection was of nothing that looked shrine-like. It had a more functional sort of marketplace, town square vibe.
How raised is this? I presume it's a road in the middle. Would
It's
it be a
about
good vantage point to have a
yeah,
quick
it's
scout
about
around?
6 or 7 steps up. So that's roughly what, 4 feet, 5 feet.
Okay, should we
roads-
wander off over there now that I've got my legs back?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
Cool.
wander over there. Be careful of the blue mist, everybody.
yeah. So I think what Caesar's going to be looking for is like particularly taller buildings, grandiose looking roofs and that sort of thing.
Fancy looking things.
Fancy looking buildings.
Okay. I'll say you see. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can make a perception check, please. Oh, your perception check was a 12. Excellent. Okay, so what you see is some of the taller buildings are. I mean, it's hard to see from this vantage point. You notice an enormous, like, earthen column that sort of
I
emerges
saw it
from.
flicker away. Oh,
Oh,
Sorry.
something emerges.
An earthen column is visible in the middle of this sort of lava pit, and
Okay.
it has something of a building on top of it that looks somewhat substantial, and then your view directly north is somewhat obscured, but you can see like the tips of this like amphitheater thing rising above some of the smaller buildings, and then
How do you ping? Sorry.
oh, you hold down the click button.
Okay, so you mean that thing there and this thing here?
Yes, precisely.
Okay.
You also
were those the
know-
only 2 things because he did drop out?
those are the only 2 things that I've described so far. But you also notice that this walled, like curved, walled area is quite tall and substantial. I'd say those are the main, like if you're looking for height, those are the main features of the city.
Orvex, do you know where these shrines would happen to be?
Yes. Let me just consult my memory, and then he consults his memory, and he says, "I think."
Hey,
that-
memory. How are you?
Hey, babe.
I think there's one sort of southeast of here. It's kind of like it's another little wall. They love like little walls, these Omuans. So if we head in that direction, I think it'll start to look familiar to me.
Well, what with logical progression and everything, and the fact that we aren't playing a linear game, but frankly, there's probably a linear path which is difficulty level based. Should we go there first? Says
Do you say that? Do you say this to
Literally,
Orvex?
exactly those words. Huh?
What?
Magic
It's like-
mumbo jumbo again.
Classic Fleeb talking nonsense.
Well, let's go to that one first. Otherwise, we're going to have to travel back, aren't we?
Oh, why didn't you say that the first
Well,
time?
that's
Let's
not
Sorry,
go.
Get behind.
the world of academia is full of using long words and facetious phrases without, actually providing what you need to say.
I stopped listening.
He indicates, he sort of points you in this direction.
Cool.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
He points you in this direction.
Should we wander into that complex then? Go down these steps and then head south.
Whilst I'm still on the road though, can I have a quick perception of being followed by the snake people?
Yeah, absolutely.
UNT?
Yeah, give me a perception check. Okay.
I haven't forgotten about them yet.
With a 15, you don't notice them pursuing you, or they don't appear visible to you at this time. You assume that, the tiny hut kind of distracted them for a little bit or made them question their pursuit, but you definitely get the sense that they were stalking you in some way.
Okay.
Cool. So you guys head down to this little compound on the right here?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'll just put your icons there so I can remember. All right. What you see, is there any marching order? Are you all just kind of following Orvex?
I'm happy to go in near the front or in the front if need be, with my shield floating around.
Okay.
I'll be walking with Orbex. I've been asking him questions.
He leads you about 10 feet inside the entrance to this little walled garden building with a garden. And what you see is a ruined shrine at the heart of this walled compound. Tall monoliths flank the entrance, and they're decorated with images of a jaguar with 6 snakes sprouting from its shoulders. And a stone door is set into the shrine beyond.
Well, no time like the present. Caesar, could you do the honors?
Wait,
Sure.
Presents? Oh no, that's
Yeah.
not what you meant. My bad.
I guess I'll just go up to the. Does it look safe? Are we sure that it's not trapped or anything?
Good idea.
Maybe there's going to be more blue smoke. I don't know.
Is detecting traps like something that rogues get naturally, or is it something that they need to learn specifically?
No, it's something that they have likely to have acquired in the what's the word? In their work. Like pretty much all rogues, whether they're a thief or a blah blah or whatever they are, they encounter traps as part of their job. So they're able to do it quite well.
Okay. So the question there is that what like if Scramble is going to look for traps from this particular place, what score does he need to do?
Okay, well, if you're just looking for traps, then it's a perception check. And if you're trying to ascertain whether a wall in front of you contains a trap lever, then it would be investigation.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll do it. I'm not.
But when you actually if you were to find a trap, for example, then disarming it is something you can use your thieves' tools for, and then you get
that I'm proficient in.
Yeah, and then you get all that kind of stuff. But the actual looking for it is something that rogues get the ability to do, whereas not everyone would really. I mean, it's kind of situational.
Oh, is it just like some passive thing that rogues have? Not a specific thing I have to take or anything.
Like mechanically, I just might be interpreting your roles more generously than someone else's because you've literally got experience in it.
You would assume so.
Cool. So, have you gonna do perception or investigation?
I will do perception. I'm not looking for specific things. I'm in traps in general.
Okay. Cool.
There we go. There's the good rolls.
Nice. Okay. You don't seem to notice any traps, but you do notice that flanking the entrance to this sort of walled compound are the 2 stone monoliths. Each one is about 15 feet tall. It's draped in vines. Mm-hmm. And it looks to have some sort of writing underneath it. And it also seems to have a very heavy door that's sort of what's the word? It's not terribly high, but it is very heavy and thick. It's a very stout door that seems to bar the entrance further in. And you can see the rest of the shrine rising above the wall, if that makes sense.
Right, this heavy door blocks the way into the rest of.
Yeah, I mean, you could climb over it with like a moderately competent check, but it's like a big stone like door.
Yeah, no. A trap.
Yeah, you don't notice any
Okay.
traps.
I don't know if it
also,
came from
sorry,
them.
with a 21, you also notice like very quietly you hear like a little like sleeping sound, like a me 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 me.
Coming from inside the shrine?
No, very distant, like almost on the other side of the shrine. It's like very faint.
Oh, okay, really far. Okay, fair enough.
Well, it may not be very far away, but because it's such a quiet sound, it's
Yeah.
like a miracle that you heard it.
Huh. All right.
What would you like to do?
So yeah, wasn't really listening to what he was being tasked to do. So he was like, looks like he's like looking around, unconfident. Yeah, you can hear that?
Yeah, hear what?
Really? Once. It's not. It doesn't sound or so maybe we'll be alright.
I see. Well,
But yeah, none of the the whatever you earlier, not a problem.
you know,
With that, Caesar just goes and like pushes the stone door
Oh yeah,
Like-
big door.
to go in.
like
I've been given the all clear. Let's go.
Probably.
I'm
not.
glad you have the confidence of this man, because quite frankly, I've completely lost all of it.
What
Okay.
confidence? You never had it to begin with, Philippe.
It's a good, accurate.
Okay, cool. So as you go to push it, what's your strength score, Caesar?
+3.
Okay, so that's 2, 4, 6, 16. So, or 17. Which one is it?
It's 16.
Okay, as you push it, you realize even with all your might, this door is not budging. And Orvex comes up beside Scramble and says, "Did you say something about like these monoliths on the other side? I think," and he starts to pull at the vines and stuff, and he says, "Ah, yes, okay, I remember where we are now. Okay, so this Omuan writing here, and you see underneath the two pillars on either side of the entrance is some inscription written in presumably Omuan, and it says, Shagambi teaches us to fight evil with honor. And you can see beside that inscription is some like hieroglyphic style drawings that show warriors sort of overseeing the training of other warriors with spears and swords and stuff, and it seems kind of militaristic.
Okay, so
Fight evil with honor.
we're to barracks of some kind, a shrine to the warriors.
Uber's there.
Okay,
Um,
I have a strong feeling I'm not going to be much help here.
well, Caesar remembers that. Hey, Philippe, can you make me a spider again? Just climb over these walls. That'll be good.
oh yeah.
Oh, I can do that, dude. You ready?
Well, we can't. Right.
Are there any
Watch
spiders
this. It's gonna
nearby?
be awesome.
We do need to still get everybody in, but
Maybe
yeah,
I can just open the door from the other side.
yeah, that's a good point. I
Dude, you wanna
fish,
be a
I fish around in my pocket and like remove like assorted bits, like bits of tinder, like a small like little bit of earth, some shavings of like and a couple of razor blades. And finally, I find like a small spider that's like just trying to call out it. No. And I sort of like breathe on it, and like a sort of purple mist comes out, and the spider begins to sort of shrivel up and sort of like pulsate a bit. Like, here you go.
Yeah, that looks safe.
Nom.
Okay, so you now have the spider climbing ability if I'm following that spell casting correctly.
Yep.
Oh, you wanted to give him spider climbing. You didn't want to make him a spider.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what he
What
asked
did you do,
for.
Jax?
You,
What
what
the
I was
fuck
gonna
can
do
you do?
Nothing. No,
Cool.
nothing.
So
Does
with your ability, Caesar, what do you do?
So these will I'll just climb up the wall.
Cool.
Have
You
a quick peek over before I commit climbing over there. Once I'm at the top.
Okay, you walk over quite easily, and you see exactly what I described before. It's like a little tiny garden space before another series of, another staircase, not another. The first staircase leads into the building itself.
Okay. I'll just jump down and see whether the door has a mechanism or I can just push it outwards.
Before you do, make a stealth check for me.
Stealth check.
Okay. With a 13, you land with a heavy thud on the other side. Even though you were spider climbing, you must have just stepped off of the wall and onto the ground in too enthusiastic a manner. And then somewhere on the other side of the shrine, you hear like a growling, followed by a hissing that you could only describe as the combination of a leopard and a snake. And that is exactly what comes round the shrine to greet you. It looks exactly like a leopard, but it has snakes coming out of its shoulder blades. And that is where we're going to leave this session.